Bill Hagerty, the Republican Tennessee senator, with us on that. Senator, I know you're not a fan of the whole package, let alone however they plan to pay for it. But it does seem to me, at least at early read, that this wealth tax, it's going to be a tough sell legally to fly. What have you heard?
Well, first, Neil, let me say it's wonderful to see you back and looking healthy, and always good to be with you. In terms of what we're hearing, they're talking about a fundamentally new type of tax, this wealth tax. They want to get this passed in a matter of days when they're going to rewrite fundamentally the way the tax code would work. I agree with you, it's unconstitutional. It will not pass legal muster. It's been tried before in Sweden and France. They had to pull it down. Operationally, as you mentioned, it's going to be extraordinarily difficult to implement something like this. And if you think about what they're talking about, this is just going to hit 700 people. Go back to 1913 when the income tax was imposed. The highest rate then was 7%. It was targeted to people that in modern terms and modern dollars would be about $14 million, an enormous sum back then. You know what's happened to the income tax. This is just going to be the camel under the tent, the camel's nose under the tent if this were allowed to happen. And this is certainly going to be used as a tool that the Democrats will use to find more and more revenue until we're right into the pockets of the middle class.
And they haven't hid the fact that this could go beyond billionaires, but it's interesting, Senator, that Elon Musk has responded to this, maybe now that he's worth more than any other human being on the planet, about $300 billion. He says eventually, referring to this effort on Capitol Hill to seek out taxes from the rich, they run out of other people's money, and then they come for you. Back to your point that this would try to ensnare others, I guess kind of like we had with the AMT, the alternative minimum tax that was meant to sort of zero in on the uber wealthy and now has a third to half of Americans paying.
Correct.
Is that the strategy you fear?
I think that's exactly what we would anticipate if they were to get, again, I think it's unconstitutional, but if they were to get a tax like this in place, I think that's exactly what we would see. The same type of creep as you mentioned on the AMT, what's happened with the income tax over the years, you know it's gone far beyond 7% and it's reached to every American. So this is just the beginning of something that's going to be very, very bad for our economy, very, very bad for the American citizens. And I think it's going to make us, again, less competitive as a nation, Neil. It's going to push more jobs overseas, more investment overseas at a time when we desperately need to see our economy coming right back strong.
Are you getting a sense from your colleagues? I know all Republicans are against this in the House and the Senate. I get that. But there's been a sense that now this overall figure of maybe $1.75 trillion is the semi-sweet spot for all Democrats to be on board in the Senate. Do you agree with that?
I do not, Neil. I think we really are in jeopardy here focusing on a top line number. You know, Bernie wanted $6 billion at the beginning, $3.5 billion had been the focus for months. Now they're talking about adjusting that number, but they can use Washington budget gimmicks to do this. They can shorten the time frame from 10 years to 5 years to score it. I'm sure there's all types of budget gimmickry going on to get these numbers down, but what we need to look at is what's in the bill. When you look at that, there's some very disturbing aspects of this bill. As you know, we found in this 2,500 page plus bill that was on the House side, we found a piece there that was buried. Bernie Sanders and I have had exchange over this. It's a green card situation where they blow the cap off of green cards in America. It would allow big tech companies to have unlimited access to foreign workers for a 10-year period. That'd be a whole generation that we would be telling kids here in America that you don't have access to the types of high-tech STEM jobs that I've been encouraging kids in my state to prepare themselves for. I've been literally talking with middle school students, high school students, encouraging them to get ready for the high-tech jobs of tomorrow. Yet buried in this bill is a big tech billionaire handout again. It's something the corporate lobbyists here, I'm sure, are thrilled to have. But it allows unlimited foreign workers to come in with green card status. That's permanent residency status, and it's a 10-year giveaway. These types of things, I think the Democrats don't even know what's in this bill. Certainly, I don't want to see us in a situation that Nancy Pelosi loves to talk about. You got to pass it to find out what's in it. But that's where we're headed.
All right, there's going to be a lot in there they're going to sort through beyond just the price tag, ultimately. So, Senator, thank you.